Hello everyone, I, Professor Bhavik Kumar M. Kataria, welcomes you into the video series of Information and Network Security. Today we are going to discuss unit number 8, Key Management and Distribution. And in this unit we will discuss symmetric key distribution as well as public key distribution. In terms of symmetric key distribution, we will discuss using symmetric encryption and asymmetric encryption. And in our next session, we will discuss the X.509 certificates and public key infrastructure. So let's see some highlight about the our earlier session. So till today we have discussed unit number 5, cryptographic hash function and applications of cryptographic hash function. In this thing we have discussed hash table also. At that time we have implemented hash table due to the limitation of simple table. Then after we have discussed need of head function, like whatever the problem we are facing with the array, and due to the hash table we are able to going to solve out this type of problems. And then after we move towards the hash function. So while discussing the hash function, we have discussed one thing, that is collision. And that is the limitation of hash function. So to overcome the limitation of this hash function, we have discussed the collision resolution techniques. In terms of hash function, we have discussed various hash functions like the division method, then after multiplication method, mid square method, and folding method. So these are the various methods of the hash functions, and we have derived the equation of division method, multiplication, mid square, and folding methods. In terms of collision resolution techniques, we have discussed the linear probing, quadratic probing, then after one technique was double hedging. So these three techniques in terms of collision resolution, these are the open addressing techniques. These are the open addressing techniques. And then after we have discussed chaining method. In terms of cryptographic hash function, we have discussed the hash function based on cipher block chaining also. And we have discussed secure hash algorithm, SHA. So in terms of cryptographic hash function, basically we are going to use cryptographic hash function for the message digest. We have used it for the message digest. Or another word, that is hash digest. We can also call hash digest. So what is the application of hash digest? So whenever there is a random size of messages are there, so by taking the random size of message, we are applying hash function on it, and by applying the hash function we are getting the output h of m. and this h of m is our hash digest, and it will reduce the size of original message. It is message m, and it will provide the fixed bit message. I mean, suppose consider there is a L bit, so it will provide a fixed size of bit length for the message. Get it? In terms of cryptographic hash function, we have discussed message authentication. There is a 4 case of message authentication we have discussed, as well as we have discussed the properties of cryptographic hash function. And one thing we have discussed that is cryptanalysis. Cryptanalysis. And last we have discussed the some of the hash algorithms suggested by NIST. In terms of suggested algorithm of NIST, like MD5, SHA, and MD5. MD5 was an older technique, SHA is a new one. So these are the everything about the unit number 5, whatever we have discussed till today. And then we move towards the message authentication code. In terms of message authentication code, we have discussed MAC requirements, MAC security, MACs based on hash function, and MACs based on block cipher. Get it? So basically, MSE is used to verify the integrity of a message. Integrity may be in terms of context modification, in terms of sequence modification, in terms of timing modifications, or it should be source repudiation or destination repudiation. So this type of integrity can be possible into the message. So third party can change the message like that. In terms of authentication, if we will look about the properties of MAC, so at that time we have used the secret key as well as message encryption and hash function. This 3 things we have used as a authenticator for the message authentication code. And we have discussed message authentication by using the 3 different cases for the MAC function, like message authentication, authentication tied to plain text, and authentication tied to ciphertext. As well as we have discussed 4 different cases for the message encryption, like symmetric key encryption, which is producing confidentiality and authentication, whereas case number 2, 3 and 4, remaining 3 cases are for the public encryption. So at that time we have used the public key, and we achieve like in first case we have achieved the confidentiality, I mean case number 2, and then after we have achieved the authentication and signature, and in last case we have achieved confidentiality, authentication and signature, all these things. So that is everything about the message authentication code. And then after we have discussed digital signature. So in terms of digital signature, basically digital signature is providing the authentication and non-repudiation, whereas whenever we are using the DSS, digital signature standard, DSS, so in that case we are able to achieve message integrity also. So we have discussed a few cases in which by using the hash function and encryption, we are also able to achieve confidentiality and message integrity also by the digital signature. Otherwise, whenever we are using the normal digital signature, so we are able to achieve the functionalities of authentication and non-repudiation. We have also discussed the structure of digital signature on that session, as well as we have discussed the use of encryption and 2 approaches like NIST DS algorithm. There is a 2 approach. One is a DSS approach and another one is a RSA approach. So these 2 approaches we have discussed at that time, as well as we have discussed Elgamal scheme, and another one was a Schnorr scheme. So this two algorithm we have discussed, and today we are going to discuss the key management and distribution. So let's see whatever actually we want to discuss in terms of key management and key distribution. So basically, if we will look about the key distribution, so mainly there are three parts. First one is a symmetric encryption. Get it? It means we are using the secret key while using the symmetric encryption. So that key is secret and shared among the both the sender and receiver. Whereas second case is a asymmetric encryption. It is our first case, symmetric encryption, case number 1. Get it? And it is our second case, asymmetric encryption. Currently we are talking about the symmetric key distribution. We are talking about the symmetric key distribution using symmetric encryption. Second case is symmetric key distribution using asymmetric encryption. In terms of asymmetric encryption, we will use public key and private key, both this key. So here private key will work as a secret key in terms of second case, like we have used the secret key in our case number 1. So that is asymmetric encryption. In that case we can use the secret key by using the simple secret key and secret key with confidentiality. So it will become our case number 2. And then after our third case is for the public key distribution. So public key distribution we can distribute with the 4 types: public announcement, public available directory, public key authority, and public key certificate. So these are the 4 cases for the public key distribution. Let's see one by one. So in terms of key management, first we are discussing the symmetric key distribution using the symmetric encryption. That is our case number 1. So what are the situations? Like here two parties, Bhavik and Dhruvi, are communicating with each other. So first case, Bhavik can select a key and physically deliver it to Dhruvi. Like suppose in general cases, whenever we are making a lock on anything, like we are going to lock the message. So physically, consider in non-technical terms, like we are going outside. So what we are doing, we are just putting lock at our home. Get it? So one thing is that suppose 2 members are living in our family. So suppose one possibility is either there is a requirement of 2 separate keys with both the member. Suppose 2 different keys not available, there is a single key for a lock. So what we are doing, whenever we will lock our home, so one person is bringing the key. Get it? And if another person require a key, so another person will ask the key to the first member. So same thing is here. Bhavik can select a key and physically deliver it to Dhruvi, so Dhruvi can open a lock. So same thing in terms of our network security fundamentals. Both the member can select a key and physically deliver to another member if there is a single key. So that is first case. Another case, a third party can select the key and physically deliver it to Bhavik and Dhruvi. I mean, suppose I am going to outside and I not if we are 2 members and both are going at a different places, so it is not necessary pre-decided like who will arrive first and who will open the home. Get it? So what we can do, we can put our key at someone other colleague's home or neighbor's home. So whenever any person will arrive at home, so that person will bring the key from neighbor. So that is the use of third party in terms of network security. Third party can select the key and physically deliver it to the communicator. Get it? third case, if Bhavik and Dhruvi have previously and recently used a key, one party can transmit the new key to the other and encrypt it using the old key. Yes, that is the concept look like. We are generally using the duplicate key. Suppose we are 5 members in home. So if we have a one original key, so we are generating 4 duplicates key for remaining 4 members, and we are sharing the keys to everyone. So that is our third case. Get it? In terms of network security, whatever the previously and recently used key, it means that is our original key, and here we are generating the duplicates, like one party can transmit the new key to the other encrypted using the old key. Encrypted using the old key means we are generating one duplicate key in our real-time use. Same thing, we can do this type of activity in terms of network security. And the last case, that is case number 4, that is if Bhavik and Dhruvi has an encrypted connection to a third party can deliver a key on the encrypted links to A and B. It means look like I am hiring one watchman who will handle the key and lock. Whenever we will go outside, so watchman will put the lock at home, and whenever out of our 2 members, whatever will come first, so watchman will open the lock. That is look like. Get it? That is our case number 4. Third party can deliver a key on the encrypted links to A and B. So same thing, this type of functionalities we can implement in network security. So but one key issue is there. Suppose in our previous 2 cases, get it, like physically one member can deliver to key to other member, or we are going to use the neighbors. Get it? So in these 2 cases, so what happened? Suppose there are n devices. It means generally currently I am talking with the 2 member Bhavik and Dhruvi, but suppose if you will look, suppose there are multiple members, like 8 to 10 members in family. So this thing is not possible. Why? Because if n devices in network, it will require n into n minus 1 by 2 keys. Get it? Like duplicate key generating, we are using case number 3. Get it? Suppose we want to we have a one original key and we are going to make duplicate key. So if there is a 5 members, so it will require 4 duplicate key and 1 original key, total 5 keys. Get it? So same thing, there are n number of devices into the network, so it will require n into n minus 1 by 2 keys. So that is difficult to use this type of multiple keys. Get it? So there is a one solution, which is key distribution center. By using the key distribution center, we can implement our case number 4. What key distribution center will do? Key distribution center will generate one session key and one master key. Session key is for the particular session. Look like somewhere you are transferring amount to any other member's account. So there is a particular session. Whenever you are surfing any website, you are going to log in on any website. So that is one session. So key distribution center is generating a session key for particular session, and it will use the master key for the every session. Look like generally in non-technical terms, whenever our somewhere we are getting any problem in our lock, or whenever our key is not found, so we will go with some technicians. So technicians are using the master key. In most of the cases, master key is working on every lock. So that's why key distribution center is generating one session key and one master key. Session key will use for the particular session, and master key will use for the every number of sessions, whatever the number of sessions are generated. So master key is single and common, and session key is different for the every number of sessions. In terms of key distribution scenario, look like that is our key distribution center, KDC. We will identify the key distribution center in a short form KDC. It is our key distribution center. Get it? So that is initiator of two parties. That is, I mean, you can consider sender or receiver, or you can consider initiator and responder. Get it? So that is initiator. So initiator will request to the KDC. Like initiator want to communicate with the responder. That is A and B. Look like you can consider here Bhavik and Dhruvi. There is two party. Get it? So here Bhavik will request to KDC because Bhavik want to communicate with Dhruvi. So Bhavik will send the identification of A and identification of B. It means identification of themselves, Bhavik, and identification of Dhruvi with the nonce one. Nonce one is look like security check or authentication. Like whenever you are going to log in into the website, so they are checking you are really a person or there is a robots. So they are generating some image. So you have to choose this is a car, this is a bus, this is a tree. So that is for the security purpose. So that is norms. So this type of norms are generated by the initiator. And now KDC will reply the initiator. Get it? KDC will provide the two keys. As per we have discussed, one is session key, that is KS, and another one is a permanent master key. Get it? So that is KA. So KS for the KS with the identification of A and B with the norms 1. It means initiator can communicate with the responder. And another master key with the session key with the identification of A. Because this one is a message initiator. Get it? So first, initiator will send the one master key of for the B and one session key for the particular sender with the identification of themselves. And again responder will respond by using the session key. Session key is for the particular session, and this thing is a master key. Get it? So whenever session is established, so then after initiator and responder can communicate with each other by using that particular session key. So these three are the authentication steps, and these three are the distribution step. It is this one, and this one. These are the, we can call it distribution step. And remaining these three are the authentication step. This step is common in both. It is known as a distribution step as well as authentication step. Now, one more case, that is automatic key distribution. In terms of automatic key distribution, like suppose we are communicating with the network. So what happens into the network? Into the network, like two hosts are communicating. Like consider again there is a Bhavik and Dhruvi. There is a two hosts which are communicating with one another. So first step, host send packet requesting connection. That is first step. Get it? And it will go to the security service. And what happens? Security service will make a buffers packet and ask KDC for session key. So that is the responsibility of security service. It will ask with the key distribution center for the session key. And third step, that is third step 1, KDC will reply with the session key to both the users like Bhavik and Dhruvi. KDC will generate session key for both. Get it? And then after fourth one, communication can take place like buffered packet transmitted. So Bhavik and Dhruvi can communicate with each other. So that is the working scenario in network. Now our third case, that is public key distribution. Get it? So what happens? Like in our first case, we have discussed symmetric key distribution using symmetric encryption, and we have also discussed here asymmetric key also. Get it? But first we are discussing public key distribution. So what happens in terms of public key distribution? That is our case number 3. First, there is a public announcement. So user A and user B both are announcing their public key. So anyone can use this public key and communicate with user A and user B. So that is broadcast, look like radio broadcasting. Then after public available directory, it means there is a one common directory. Like suppose we don't know, suppose A want to communicate with B, like consider our common thing like Bhavik and Dhruvi are communicating. So suppose Bhavik want to communicate with Dhruvi, so either they can publicly announce the message. Suppose there is a group of network, so we can broadcast the message in group. Otherwise, if we want to communicate personally, get it? Suppose I want to communicate with B. So what is the requirement? Identification of B, but identification B is not available. Suppose A want to call the B, so it will require the mobile number of B. So if A does not require the mobile number of B, so what A will do? A will go for the searching the mobile number of B. Like A will search with the Truecaller. Get it? Currently you are using the Truecaller. You are in the era of Truecaller. But whenever you will ask to the earlier generation, so they are using the telephone directory. One telephonic directory was there into the hard copy of dictionary, and there is a number of contact numbers are there, which is like important contact numbers of several offices, several relatives, several friends. So there are one directory people are maintaining in earlier years. Get it? So look like there is a public key directory which is storing the key of public key of every users. Suppose there are 5 to 10 users, so public key directory is storing the 10 different public key of all users, and whenever any user will ask for the public key of any other user, so public key directory will share the key. But in this both cases there is a lack of security. We are not getting the security here. Why? Because whenever we are sharing the message in broadcast way, like we are publicly announced, so anyone will able to read the message or extract the message. Same thing in case of public key directory, anyone can ask the public key of suppose user A can ask for the public key of B, as well as A can ask for the public key of C, D, E also. Whatever the number of users are there, A can ask for the public key of any user. Third case, that is public key authority. In that case, there is one authority section. We are giving the authority of all the users. Like A is requesting for the key of B, and B is requesting for the key of A. So what's happened here? There is a private authority and a public key. Here A is requesting for the, that is the time slot T1 and T2. So whenever receiving after the request A, public key authority will reply the public key of B on this request. That is the sign of appended. So don't confuse. It is public key of B appended with request appended with the time slot 1. And that is a private authority. It means it is privately authorized by the private authority. Same thing. Whenever B will request, so there is a private authority and public key of A and request appended with the T2. So A have a private authority of communicating with the B, and B have a private authority to communicate with A. So same thing here, A is requesting to B, like public key with B and identification of A and nonce 1. Same thing, B can make a request also, but here B is responding with the public key of A and nonce 1 and nonce 2. So these are the encrypted. Everything is encrypted. So here we are getting the security because everything is encrypted. Same thing, A and B can communicate with each other because both have a private authorities. Another thing, that is a public key certificate. It means certificate authority. So certificate authority will certify the users with the certificate of A and certificate of B. Like whenever A will publicly request with the public key of A and B will request with the public key of B. So certificate authority will allocate the certificate, which is this certificate is encrypted with the private authority of public key A, and here private authority with the public key of B. So public key of both the users are certified. So then after certified user can communicate with each other. Get it? So these are the public key distribution, and our second case was the symmetric key distribution using asymmetric encryption. We have discussed using symmetric key encryption, but here we are discussing with the asymmetric encryption. So again there is two cases: simple secret key distribution and secret key distribution with confidentiality and authentication. So what is happening into the simple secret key distribution? There is a public key of A and identification of A, and A is requesting to B for communication. Same thing, B is replying with the public key of A and one key, that is a secret key. K is a secret key. So A can use this secret key and communicate with the B. Another thing, there is a secret key distribution with confidentiality and authentication. So in this case, A will request user B with the public key of B, and B will reply to A with the public key of A, which is appended with the nonce A with the identification A, and nonce appended with the nonce 2. Same thing, then after whatever the A and B will communicate, so they will communicate with the public key and encrypted private key. These are the private key and these are the secret key. So that is asymmetric key encryption. In terms of asymmetric encryption, we are using both the keys, public key and private key. Whereas in terms of our earlier first case, by using the symmetric encryption, we have used only secret key. So that was everything about the key management and distribution. In our next session, we will discuss X.509 certificates. So stay connected. Thank you very much.